few things in this country we can call truly Canadian, but this is one. The Canadian Men's Curling Championship and the Labatt Brier Tankard. And only one skip this week in Kamloops knows what it's like to hold that tankard high. Alberta's Kevin Martin, the winner in 1991. We've watched him for so long when he was a Canadian junior champion, only to stumble at the world level. He won his Brier Championship in 1991, beating Saskatchewan's Randy Wojtowicz in Hamilton. But again, stumbled at the Worlds. This former champion of the World Curling Tour would like nothing more than another trip back to the Worlds. And guess where this year? Yep, Hamilton. This week in Kamloops off to a fantastic start with the Hot Shots competition. The winner taking home a 1996 Ford Contour worth nearly $23,000. It came down to a battle between Don Bartlett of Alberta, Rick Perron of New Brunswick. These two leads. Bartlett, his final stone in the competition. Perron leading by 2 points. He couldn't hold his shooter. Perron didn't have to throw his last one, and so Rick Perron will take home the 1996 Ford Contour. Some of the names familiar, some not. Bob Ingram from Ontario, a first-timer. So is Brian Rafuse from Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. Also making their first appearance, Dave McInnes from Northern Ontario. Rod Montgomery from Moose Jaw. They are your 12 teams here at this year's Labatt Brier. And in our opening game, he's not new, Barry McPhee, in his third appearance against the newcomer, Bob Ingram.
The 1996 Labatt Brier is brought to you by Labatt, good things brewing. The Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited. And by CIBC Trust, your will and estate planning and investment management professionals.
Everybody loves a parade, so what better way to welcome the Labatt Brier to Kamloops than with Briar Bears Civic Parade through the downtown streets of Kamloops. Hi, everybody. Welcome to TSN's opening day coverage of this, the 1996 Labatt Brier. A Brier that many people are calling one of the most wide open in recent memory because only 3 skips in the field of 12 have ever skipped at a Brier before. Our first round game features one of those new skips, Bob Ingram and his championship team from Ontario against the local favorite from right here in Kamloops, and Barry McPhee making his third appearance at a national championship. And now with their thoughts, Lyndon Ray.
What do they say? We're back. Last week in Thunder Bay, the top female players in this country put on an unbelievable show. And this week in Kamloops, our men get a chance to strut their stuff. Linda, they're kind of calling this the no-name Brier. I don't think that's very fair.
Well, it may not be a parade of stars, but certainly the teams across the country are very solid and have performed well just to make it to the Brier. But look, we have Kevin Martin back, 1991 Brier champion. A little bit different team because he's moved Don Walchuk to third. It's not the same team we saw prior to Christmas, but still, I think, a very solid crew. Then you go to Manitoba. Manitoba, 24 titles out of 66 years. It's a great province and a great team here. Jeff Stoughton, 2 Canadian mixed titles. You know he's got a great lineup as well. Then you have to head over to BC, I think, because Barry McPhee, although he has a new team, has been to the Brier twice before. 81 and 86, placed third both times, so he can play as well.
3 very strong teams, of course. My scouts tell me that Dave McInnes from Northern Ontario can really shoot. Bob Ingram from Ontario, of course, beat Wernick and Howard. What more can you say about him? You got Rod Montgomery out of Saskatchewan and Don Westfall out of Quebec, who both won enough money on the tour to qualify for the championships. When you look to the East Coast, you've got more Purple Hearts than you can imagine, with McDonald and Kennedy both skipping in this event. Out of the north comes young Richard Robertson. He's keen. He's been to 4 Briers. This is his 4th Brier, so it's a great field.
So, out of all those teams, who are you going to pick, Ray?
Oh, you had the big week and the exact last week in Thunder Bay, picking them 1-2, so you're going to put the pressure on me. I like Jeff Stoughton to win it, and my long shot will be from the Laval province, Don Westfall.
Oh, I'm going to go with Martin, obviously the proven performer. But as the long shot, I'm going to go with Mike Kennedy in New Brunswick. Quebec and New Brunswick are the teams with Brier experience at every position.
Well, Labatt and Safeway make it all happen. The St. Clair group and the CCA coordinate it all. We got Shorty Jenkins here as the ice maker. Linda and I will try and critique it for you to the best of our ability. Mr. Router will keep us up to date on all the sheets, including the weather. We got Ontario and BC today. It should be a tremendous week. Back to you, Victor, in the parade.
So let me understand, you've never worked in television? You don't know much about curling. But see, the most important thing is working the telestrator. Can you draw a perfect circle? Let's talk after the parade, okay? When we come back, we'll have Ontario against BC. It's the opening round coverage of the 96 Labatt Brier from Kamloops, and it's only right here on TSN. You're good. You're really good.
We came up from Louisiana to Montreal to play at the festival. We were ready to go, but we noticed that our most important instrument was missing right before the show. We had to do something. I wasn't even sure they took Visa. Do you take Visa?
Pardon me?
Visa. I hope you'll take it.
Of course. We only take Visa.
Used more often than any other card in the world. Visa. It's the only card you need.
It's been 2 weeks.
What do you mean?
I mean, every day for 2 weeks.
Every day?
Every day.
And it's good?
It's very good.
2 weeks, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What does your wife think?
She thinks it's great. You should try it.
Oh, I'm gonna try it.
Good.
They're talking about Kellogg's All Brand. It's very high in fiber. Make it part of your complete breakfast for 2 weeks and see how you feel about it.
How do you feel about it?
Good.
You feel good.
I knew that I would.
Kellogg's All Brand. Try it for 2 weeks. Love it forever.
With Coldwell Banker Real Estate, you always get the best because our salespeople have the best resources to deliver results. Unparalleled programs to generate buyers and sellers. It's what the best means. Coldwell Banker Real Estate. Support you can count on.
At first glance, this strut looks like most other struts, except for one important feature. Only UAP Napa struts meet the top quality standards of UAP Napa. UAP Napa, the right brand for the job.
We're not quite sure what to call it, but everyone seems to have it. The desire to go somewhere, the urge to do something. Bell Mobility salutes the spirit in all of us that makes us want to move. Where you want to go is your business. Letting you go with confidence is ours, because gravity should be the only thing holding you down. The only way to go, Bell Mobility.
It's a beautiful facility, just 3 years old, the Riverside Coliseum here in Kamloops, the site of this 1996 Labatt Brier. 4 sheets in play. Our featured game is on sheet B, Ontario against British Columbia. It'll be our first look at the ice, so let's get an idea of what it just might be like. Let's read the ice now with Ray, brought to you by CIBC Trust.
Well, it looks like a great combination of ice and stones. Let's talk about how fast it is. From this hog line to this tee line, we're talking about 23.5 to 24 seconds. To get around the center guards, about 1.5 to 2 feet, all the movement is late, coming both ways. We'll watch it closely. It can change a little bit as the round robin goes on. To get around the corner guards, about 3.5 to 4 feet. Lots of movement. Once again, the movement is all late on both sides of the sheet, so you can get behind those corner guards. When you're hitting a stone from the outside in, it's a little weight sensitive. It'll run a little straighter, but you need about 3 or 4 inches of ice. Coming off the center line, about a foot and a half. It's a great looking ice service. Shorty Jenkins is here. This should be a tremendous event.
And really, we couldn't have a better facility. It's sold out the entire week, 6,000. Let's meet our leads. Bert Hinch for BC and Jim Brackett for Ontario. The seconds are Ken Brown and Rob Rumfeld. Throwing third stones, Tony Eberts, Larry Smith. And representing British Columbia from the Kamloops Curling Club, Mary McPhee. And from the Ridgetown Curling Club in Ontario, Bob Ingram. Elsewhere on the ice, Quebec against Manitoba, Westfall against Stoughton. It'll be Newfoundland against Nova Scotia, O'Driscoll against Raycuse, while Robertson from Yukon Northwest Territories plays McInnes from Northern Ontario. The Vies belong to Alberta, Prince Edward Island, Saskatchewan, and New Brunswick. We're all set to go. Round 1, the Labatt Brier. And throughout round robin competition, Redstones will have last rock, and so in this first end of play, it will be Ontario And this team from Ridgetown, which is about 15 miles east of Chatham, in the southwestern part of Ontario, they will have last rock.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, Linda, how Bob reacts to his first Brier. You know, you and I talked about this earlier. I don't know what the reason is, but sometimes when you go to the Brier for the first time, you've played in lots of competition, you've played lots of cash bonds fields, but sometimes there's no question in my opinion that it's different when they put that province crest on the back of your jacket.
Well, obviously I agree with you, because in our picks we went with experience. Even the long shots are teams that have at every position been to a Brier before, and I think that will be important. It will be important for teams like Ontario to get off to a good start. This game is very important for them, because without that experience there is a bit of nerves, and this is the best way to settle down those nerves, and that's a win in your first round.
The combination of ice and stones that I mentioned in the ice reading segment just a moment ago is that these are the same stones that we had in Calgary at the Scott Tournament of Hearts last year, and as I mentioned earlier, Hans Richard and Shorty Jenkins are here to make the ice, and the combination last year, Vic, if you remember, was absolutely fantastic. The ice and the stones in Calgary at the Scott Tournament of Hearts was tremendous, so you expect the same thing here.
Well, it's curious because one of the things you've talked about, and you had a chat with the ice makers, is the fact that there is very little humidity in a city such as Kamloops, which is in the interior. It's a little drier, and in fact, it may be too dry.
It's something that they have to deal with, and the ice makers have been working a week to put in this ice surface. There's been an opening ceremony, all sorts of things happening earlier today, so they've been trying to grapple with all those conditions to make the ice as best they can. Certainly the ice is going to change a little bit in this first day because they're still working with it a little bit.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how Bob Ingram plays. I mean, he's cut from that Ontario mold, and you know what that is. That's offense, and to beat teams like Wernick and Howard, as he did, and you know, he obviously can play their game. So. And then you also mentioned that maybe in the BC playdowns that a lot of the play was wide open and clean. So it'll be kind of interesting to see if Bob goes after Barry McPhee, who obviously won his championship playing it a little bit simpler.
I mentioned that Barry McPhee is in his third Brier appearance. The rest of this team, though, it's their first. And in fact, Linda, Barry took a couple of years off, really, played very little, sort of recharged the batteries, and now took this team, which really belonged to Eric Wilson, said, let's make a run at it, boys, and it's paid off. As we take a look at the lead for Ontario, Jim Brackett. He's a sales manager for Pioneer Hybrid Seeds in Chatham. He's also a farmer, so he actually sells the seeds he sows.
Yep. I'm glad you said that.
It comes out once, and that's it.
Yeah. Once is actually enough.
Now, although this looks pretty wide open, we have seen this even during the entire week at the Scott Tournament of Hearts, where the play comes into the rings early, then they exchange takeouts. They're still getting the feel for the ice, looking over the opponent. All that is happening while they play this first end, and thus a little more wide open.
Well, all last week during the Scott Tournament of Hearts, we talked about how that first stone dictates the style of the end. And Barry brought it right into the rings, and Bob just prepared just to exchange stones. So very little offense in this first end. That I would expect is what both teams really want, especially Ontario. As I mentioned, it's their first Brier, and try and keep a little loose and get yourself into the game first before you try anything.
He lives in Kamloops now, but Ken is a native of Flin Flon, Manitoba. Works for Westway Plumbing and Heating.
Well, we could have told you he was from Manitoba just by looking at that tuck delivery.
Unfortunately, Ken has a bit of a chronic back problem. Hopefully he'll be able to play the entire week. If not, they have brought Eric Wilson in as their fifth player. As Vic mentioned, Eric used to skip the three players, the third, second, and lead in this case.
Corner.
So he's somebody that knows the team really well, but hopefully Ken's back will hold up for the entire week.
TD Bank in Guelph is where Rob works. Just recently transferred there from Windsor, Ontario.
Let her die in its own. Yeah, bring her up a bit. Might as well get her T-line. Come on, come on. I thought it'd swing more than that.
Comment about the movement. He thought it would come, and actually in practice sessions they were moving about 3.5 feet to 4 feet there. That certainly didn't move that much. Just a couple of feet, so we'll watch it closely. It's really hard to, as Linda mentioned, Vic, to really know what's going to happen with the ice. The first day for the ice makers and everybody is always a little bit nervous as the opening ceremonies, and it's the temperature at ice surface that they worry about. They try and keep it as close to the point, close to that melting point as possible, because the colder the ice surface is, the straighter the rocks will run, so they're trying to keep it right very close to that perfect temperature. And on the first draw, you really don't know what to expect. The building fills up with people, and by the way, beautiful building. What a building.
Right off.
Outside in, as I mentioned, will run pretty straight.
Easy, Jim, easy. Easy.
That's very nice controlled weight. We're seeing that from both teams, and I think that's going to do them well, especially if the ice is a little bit straighter in the first draw. That weight will come up for them.
There's the inside-out shot, and you can see where the brush is being held about a foot off the edge of the stone, so it'll move that much. If you're playing the other turn, of course, it would run straighter.
Tony Eberts is the oldest player here. Here, the age of 51. Eberts Insurance, Ezard Eberts Insurance, in downtown Kamloops.
Good shot. Nice roll.
Oh, clean. Whoa.
Larry Smith, the Ontario third. His company is Remax Westgate Realty.
Yep. Quick. Clean.
We had a wonderful week with your questions and comments in Thunder Bay on the internet. You can contact us, tsncontrol@tsn.ca. We had 1,000 responses, so it's obvious we can't answer them all, but we thank you ahead of time, and we'll do our best to get your comments on.
Right.
Talking about Thunder Bay, the people of Thunder Bay, the organizing committee, and Scott, of course, should certainly be very proud of an unbelievable week. Tremendous crowds. The hospitality was something like I've never experienced before. It was just a great week in Thunder Bay, and we were really treated to some unbelievable curling.
And congratulations to Marilyn Bodo and her team from the St. Catharines Curling Club. Best all week, and they showed it in the final. And we'll look forward to seeing them at the Ford Worlds in Hamilton. Well, it's been a while for Brier appearances for Barry McPhee. His last was 1986 when he skipped the BC team in Kitchener, Ontario. Their first year together, and it's turned out well for this pro at the Rivershore Golf Club.
Seems like golf and curling is such a great combination. Think of all the players that we've seen, including people like Russ Howard and Wayne Madaw, that combine those two occupations.
Well, for sure, it gives you the time required in many cases to practice in the wintertime when you're not, you're not working as hard as you do, obviously, in the summertime. So it is a great combination. Wayne Madaw, Russ Howard, and go on. There are a number of them that have really made that combination work. This sport isn't any different from any others. We've said it many times, and we'll certainly say it again, is that you only get out of it what you put into it. Yeah. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work. All the top teams in our country will throw hundreds and hundreds of stones. It can be a pretty lonely sport at some time because you can't expect to get all 4 members together all the time, so you have to go out and practice yourself. And if you don't dedicate that work to the sport, you're just not going to ever achieve the levels that these people have achieved.
Radar. Radar. Radar.
Bob Ingram, who is process operator for Amoco, didn't do a lot of bond spieling this year, but he was at the M&M Cash Spiel, part of the World Curling Tour in London. In fact, he lost to the eventual champion, Wayne Maddock, qualified, won about $3,500, he's telling me. A wide open first draw of this 96 Labatt Brier in Kamloops.
You notice that Barry takes quite a bit of time when he prepares for a shot, a lot of focusing done. You can also see the experience. He doesn't rush around. He takes his time, makes sure he's set before he throws the stone.
No, easy.
So his job is to try and put it near the center of the house, making the rollout for Ontario that much tougher.
No, it's good. It's there.
And Ray, I guess this is one of these things you like to tuck it away. It's first stand. Let's get the draw weight down. You put it in your back pocket just in case you need it later.
Because if you can't draw, you can't skip. Thank you.
Yes, 11 years later, he finally figured that out. So it sits at the back 4 and will allow Ontario and Bob Ingram to try and blank. It's had quite a year. This is their sixth year together. Ingram and his team, as I say, from Ridgetown, which is just outside of Chatham, Ontario. They beat Ed Warenick 7-5 in the semi-final of the Nokia Cup in Pickering, Ontario. Actually stole the game from him and then beat Russ Howard in the final. First time since 1985 somebody other than either a Howard or a Warenick has represented Ontario. 85 was Earl Morris, now 1996. It is Bob Ingram who manages to pick up the blank here in the first end of the first draw. Ingram will have the hammer when we come back to Kamloops.
Moving fast, cruising slow. When you're on the road, there's just one place to go. Husky like a real good friend. People you count on time and again. No matter where the road may wind, we'll be there waiting down the line, giving you that peace of mind. Husky, here in Canada's Husky.
I'll never forgive them for breaking my alligator lamp.
That was a mercy killing.
Oh, you are cruel.
Voila, the telephone.
Oh, good. Where was it?
Microwave.
Of course.
I guess we should sign up for a long-distance thingy, huh?
Well, everyone we know is back east.
Why do they have to make this thing so complicated?
What's it say?
Well, it says we get 15% off.
Yeah?
But then there's this part that's even higher, but it's only on 3 numbers.
3? That's it?
Introducing a long-distance plan that makes sense. 25% off all calls, anytime, anywhere, when you spend $25 a month.
Wow, this is really complicated. Did you have anything to do with this?
What are you saying, I complicate things?
25% off all calls, anytime, anywhere, including overseas and calling card. Call 1-800-806-1166.
Of course, if we did just go for the 3 numbers, you know, you're not going to call that Michael guy.
You are such a child.
But isn't it the child in me that you fell in love with?
Who said anything about love?
Owning a home today in this economic environment.
This home is the one we're going to stay in the rest of our lives.
I think you feel very fortunate if you do own one. When we think about renewing our mortgage, we're not that great at it. That's what we look to the bank for, because you want to make sure that you make the right decision.
To see how you can be home free faster, get expert help, the right plan, and guaranteed competitive rates. See your CIBC personal banker or call now.
We'd have a bit of a barn burner when the mortgage is paid off.
At CIBC, we're working to see what you see.
Let's begin our updates for you with Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. Final stone, last rock, belongs to Newfoundland and Frank O'Driscoll from the St. John's Curling Club line. Brian Rayfuse from Bridgewater. avoid the jam. Well, he can't. Catches the corner, so it's a steal of one for the team from Nova Scotia. Newfoundland still to have last rock. Nova Scotia raises one of those newcomers to Briar competition. Quebec, Manitoba, Westfall against Stoughton blanked the first. So did the Yukon Northwest Territories. That's Robertson against Northern Ontario. The team from the McIntyre Hurling Club in Timmins of Dave McInnes. Well, Briar Bear made it all the way from the parade to here, the Riverside Coliseum, and already found a friend. Lots of friends here. 6,000 strong, and we look forward to a wonderful week in Kamloops. We blank the first end of our game as well. Ontario maintaining last rock the hammer as we're ready now to start the second.
Okay.
So it's up to BC to determine what kind of play they want in this end. If they put it in front of the rings, it can't be removed from play because it's in the free guard zone. If they bring it in, you can see that they'll want to keep it more open again.
Just a little bit. In the house, boys. In the house.
I can hear Barry say in the house.
Take it hard.
That was more than 2.5 minutes, huh? Shot, Bert. Huh?
Bob Ingram will just hit this. It's into the ring, so it can be removed. So no indication by either team that they really are looking to get anything started.
Come on. See the added shading this year, as well as the light blue strip down the middle, which would be the 4-foot strip. You can see the free guard zone has the added little bit of gray shading now to indicate free guard.
Yeah, normal.
In turn hit. From the outside in, you can see this rock will pull about 4 or 5 inches, as opposed to maybe last week when we were in Thunder Bay. These outside in shots were skips were taking on the inside of the stone. So there's a little bit more movement here.
Straight spot there, boys.
That one didn't come very much though. You heard Barry's comment. It's straight spot, so chance for Ontario to lie too.
So we're talking about the free guard zone. That's the area between the hog line and the house. And if stones are placed in that area, they cannot be completely removed from play until after the third stone of the end has come to rest.
Clark, Ethan.
That makes for offense. That makes for excitement. It hasn't been shown yet because the play's been into the rings, but certainly this week we'll see a lot of play in front and a lot of come around.
The Ontario lead, Jim Brackett.
Side by side.
Side by side, mirror images of each other, in Ontario with last rock, flying 2.
Okay, Kenny.
Kenny is Ken Brown.
Barry McPhee taking less ice this time, having found out that spot is a little straighter than he expected. So the amount of weight thrown will dictate the movement of course.
Hurry!
Looking for the rollover. Wants to roll over beside the other one.
Oh, will it sit in time?
Terrific shot. Yes, sir. It's shot rock. We'll watch where Bob puts the broom here. He's going to try and play. He must play the outside in shot. There it is, just off the edge of the stone.
For his second, Rob Rumfeld.
Whoa! Whoa!
Not much margin for error on these wide shots.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, very nice.
I'll say.
Okay, Kenny.
Is there a double there now?
Cross the face a bit.
You bet.
Where do you want to go?
Playing from the outside in. Hitting a touch on the outside. Try and catch this stone as he goes by.
On the nose, but pretty close.
Ken Brown.
Baby.
Throwing the big weight, this will go a lot straighter.
On the nose, got them both. He did.
Nice shot, Ken. Good.
Well, they did just catch the corner because, as I mentioned, with that up weight, it goes a lot straighter. Curled just enough to catch them both. Great shot.
Whoa.
Rob plays to a 5 handicap at his home course, Essex.
Right up. Right up.
I think Essex hosted the Canadian Open one time, early 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
Come on, come on. Get a bite. Get a bite.
5, that would be close to your handicap, Mitch?
Yeah.
Plus or minus?
No, about 10.
That's 5 strokes per hole.
Oh, yeah. Tough to gamble against. Tony Eberts.
Yep. Yep. Oh. Oh. Whoa, now, whoa, whoa, whoa. Off.
Right off.
Right off. Right off. Right off.
Okay, Joe. Straighten up a bit here, boys.
You can hear the comments about the ice being a little straighter, but as we mentioned, it certainly will change. They just have to be so careful this first round. It does mean these players have to make that slight adjustment, making sure, definitely, that they have no outward motion with their hand upon release.
And when the ice is running a little straighter, then like you mentioned, then if you do throw the rock inside out a little bit, then it'll really run straight, so you can get bitten a bit. But and I think your point is a good one, is that this particular draw, the ice technicians really have to be careful, not knowing exactly what effect the large crowd's going to have on it. So they, the temperature being the vital part of it.
The Ontario third is Larry Smith, and he'll stop it just behind the tee line, full in the 8.
Whoa! Whoa! Right up! Whoa! Right up! Clean, clean. All right, fine, fine, fine. Okay, whoa. It's okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
The problems of arenas, they're talking about whether or not they can hear each other, communicating the line and weight on the sweeping. In a big building, the sound doesn't carry very well, and you have to really make sure that the players can hear you or see your signals.
Larry's a boating enthusiast. Always looking to take people for a ride. Got a 30-footer.
Whoa, no line yet. Right up.
Power boat on Lake St. Clair.
Coming good.
Twin 350s, 8 miles to the gallon. So if you go with him, he wants you to share the gas.
Yeah, you have to take your credit card.
Yeah.
Want to go for a ride Sunday?
Bring the card.
Yeah.
Then I was reading something about Barry McPhee. You know him better than I would think Ray and I, that his personality has changed a little bit. I said to him, with your age, just comes to maturity finally, and he chuckled a little bit. He says, yeah, I'm a different guy.
Yeah, he used to have a little bit of anger on the ice, perhaps, be a bit heated, and certainly has calmed down a lot, and his shot making is still hot as ever, that's for sure.
That's really hard to relate to.
I wasn't going to draw that comparison,
You were so.
Because I was looking over your way.
Okay, clean, clean.
Barry McPhee's first skip stones here in the second after a blank in the first.
It's going to be important, though, with playing in front of his hometown crowd to control some of those emotions, because certainly they're going to be behind him as long as things are going well, definitely. And so you have to really watch your emotions out on the ice.
Might run a little straight there. That second rock to BC there ran straight. We'll see.
So referring back to Ken Brownstone.
The one that did run very straight down there, but they're taking about 4 inches of ice. Bob is. concentration.
Quick! Quick! Real quick! Real hard! Real hard! Real hard!
Brushing held that up just enough.
This is the part of the ice that you really have to be careful with.
Yeah,
It
really
looks like
down,
one spot is a little straighter. As soon as you get inside it, it is a normal curling path. So the skips have to bank that information and remember just about every inch across the tee line what this spot does versus the 1 inch closer to center line.
That's a good tip for skips or people that are just starting the game up too. You can use that tee line as a memory rule. You know, and you do. You're absolutely right. You have to remember every little inch of the ice. And as you mentioned, there looks like there may be a spot that you just get outside a little bit there, and it'll run pretty straight. And we'll watch it closely. I mean, these are just things that we're at this stage of the event. We're just trying to, you know, get a reading on. And as we go through the week, we'll try and keep you up to date with all the sheets as we move across the 4 sheets. 2 games a day.
But it is a skill for the skip to keep track of that information, and it's really something I enjoyed as far as curling goes. Mapping out the ice, remembering every piece of ice, because every sheet is a little bit different, and you have to be able to do that.
Okay, get her. Shot, Briar. That a boy.
Barry certainly has his draw away early.
First time that the Labatt Brier has come to Kamloops, but it's not the first time that the Brier has actually been played in British Columbia. Twice in Vancouver, twice in Victoria, and once in Kelowna. Part of the opening ceremonies just prior to the play. Canadian Men's Curling Championship banner raised. Those on hand included Rick Folk, Bernie Sparks. As the final stone of this second end is on its way, and once again Ontario. Ingram looking for the blank, and they'll get it.
That 1958 Briar and Victoria was a very good one.
Yes, we'll talk later. Ontario still with last round.
We make maple leaf wieners for Courtney, who will only eat Mr. Broccoli if he hasn't touched Mr. Gravy. We make maple leaf wieners for Tim, who says peas explode in his mouth. And for Caitlin, whose scrambled eggs must be shaped like little boats. Maple leaf wieners have a taste made especially for kids. For Kenny, who won't eat anything with sauce, and Jason, who won't eat anything without sauce, there will always be maple leaf.
The fact is, all cars are targets for car theft. New cars may have a higher value, but older cars can bring in big cash for their parts. So if you're not using the club, you're inviting a thief to steal your car. Stop. Don't fall prey to car theft. Get the club. Statistics show that the club is over 99% effective in reducing auto theft. Protect your vehicle from theft with the club. Now available in a variety of highly visible colors.
Maybe you think only those jet set types need a Nokia cellular phone.
Hi, it's me. Flight's delayed.
Well, now Nokia's making cellular phones so easy.
Late. Can I skip my bath?
They're practically child's play.
Attention, Flight 11 is delayed.
Can I call you back?
With Nokia's big, easy-to-read screens, last number redial, and sleek designs.
No, don't hold dinner. I'm eating my body weight in hot dogs. No, wait up. You gotta tuck me in.
So get set to join the jet set. Nokia, Europe's leading cellular phone, also made in America, connecting people.
Natural ability can only take you so far. Equipment counts for a lot. I'm always checking out new ideas. You have to stay competitive. That's what I like about Pert Plus. Cleans and conditions in one step. No messing with 2 bottles. I get great results. No hassle, no fuss. Eventually, we all cross the finish. The winners just find a better way to get there.
Pert Plus, great hair, no fuss.
Let's update the game between Quebec and Manitoba after blanking the first. Final stone for Don Westfall and his Quebec championship team from Buckingham against Jeff Stoughton from the Charleswood in Winnipeg around the center guard, line 1. Pack 8 makes the takeout to line 2. So Quebec takes the lead on Stoughton 2-0 as they go to the third. Yukon Northwest Territories against Northern Ontario. Richard Robertson, Yellowknife. Dave McInnes, the McIntyre Club in Timmins. They blanked the first. Final stone. Now, do you catch enough to push it all the way out? No, it'll dig in and stop. Pull 8. Northern Ontario, McInnes steals 1 to take the lead as they go to the third. Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. Brian Rayfuse, Bridgewater stole 1 in the first. Final stone now for the Newfoundland skip. Frank O'Driscoll from St. John's. Flying 2. This is the open draw for 3. Any piece of the paint, and there it is. 3-1 now. Newfoundland leading Nova Scotia. And yes, Terrace Smithers. Been to Smithers, lovely part of the country. Say hello to everyone in northern British Columbia. We're in the southern part of the province, in Kamloops, for this, the 1996 Labatt Brier. Still no score. Ontario with last draw.
Well, I think that if Bob's going to get anything going, he's going to have to force it. Barry has made it very clear what he's going to do without last rock is put it into the rings to the 4-foot area, and that's where they've gotten them. Yep. And if Bob Ingram wants to liven this game up and get into the offensive mode, he's going to have to ignore one of those stones and throw up the corner guard into the free guard zone area, or if nothing else, freeze to the face of it or tap it back.
Hey, Jimmy. Linda, is this Barry McPhee's style?
Well, as Ray mentioned, at the provincials, the teams tended to play a little more wide open for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. Rick Folk was there, but both he and the team that Barry McPhee played in the final, skipped by Greg McCauley, played more wide open than I've seen for a while. I think Barry's comfortable with virtually any style, but I don't think he wants to be the first one to make the aggressive move here. He's going to see what Ontario's going to do first.
Barry McPhee beat Greg McCauley of Richmond, BC, 4-2 in the provincial final.
4-2 pretty well tells the story, doesn't it?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Jim Brackett.
No, right up.
Outside in, they run pretty straight.
Yep.
There's the call again. Top 4 foot.
And the BC second is Ken Brown.
See a few corn brooms out there, but only as throwing brooms. Of course, you're permitted to throw with one type of broom and sweep with another. Don't see many being used for sweeping anymore, Ray.
No, that's a lost art now, I think. And, in lots of ways, it's kind of sad because the sweeping motion was a big part of the charisma of the sport. But the straw did generate some problems with the ice surface. Flaking, of course.
Nothing like it, the sound of the corn broom. I mean, it was a distinctive sound to the sport. You could never confuse it with any other sport.
No, it really was. I mean, to watch two good sweepers was really poetry in motion. It really was.
Come on, get a little
there
roll,
were many great combinations.
No, all right.
Sparks' story come quickly to mind. The Wilson brothers. Turnbull and Bronstein, of course.
Of course.
And if you believe that, I have a small bridge for you.
You see the great sweeping with the brushes nowadays. Important, both players opposite sides of the stone getting nice and close to each other and close to the stone.
Shots, Kenny.
A reminder, TSN Sunday with John Wells comes your way Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. John will not have a feature on Turnbull and Bronstein's sweeping technique. I know that for sure.
Oh, we wowed him with that 58 victory in Briar.
That's a remarkable story because you're telling me you were 17, and you and the team were the youngest there, obviously, and that forced the rule change eventually, right?
Yeah, it did, actually, Vic. It was, in 58 Briar. Matt Baldwin, of course, three-time Canadian champion. We ended up in a tie in the round robin with Matt and played a playoff game there. Here we are there. Ronnie Bronstein, Jack Van Halleman, Terry Bronstein, and myself.
Right off.
Too many years ago to think about.
No, never. All right. Okay, Joe.
12 end games with those corn brooms. That's where men were men.
Yep.
Yeah, I bet.
10-6. But you weren't allowed to go into the bars. Drinking age was what then? 19, 21?
21, yeah.
21?
Yeah.
Boy.
You know, I guess it was Jack Wells in Winnipeg tabbed us as the Pablum Kids. A great experience, though. Certainly one that changed my entire life. It got me, at that time I was playing football and hockey, and it got me really hooked on this sport. And it's done nothing but to bring me a great deal of pleasure over the last many years.
Well, once again, the ring is wide open, and this is the Ontario third, Larry Smith. He just overthrow this, or is it quickening up a bit?
I think it will start to slide a little more, but he definitely overthrew it. They've been playing so many hits, you've got to really settle down when you drive out of the hack, when you go to throw your draws.
Tony Eberts is a native of Regina.
Easy. No, Kenny, no. Come on.
Just one last note on those early days.
Easy up. Come on, hurry.
Everybody went to the Briar on the train, Vic. In other words, the train started on the East Coast and right across the country, and teams were all picked up as they went along the way. It was really a tremendous event. Obviously, for a 17-year-old, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Same ice as already, just through the lot.
Fabulous experience. The Briar train, it was Party City.
Clean. Whoa. Stay close. Yep. Quick. Your side, Jim. All right. No rule.
Ronnie Bronstein told me a good story the other night at dinner. I had dinner with him in Vancouver. He lives in Vancouver. He's a doctor in Vancouver, and he's been there for many years. And he went over to the 76 Briar, was in Victoria, I believe it was. 76, was that the figure up on the screen?
I think it was, yeah.
And he said he went over there, and he didn't have any tickets, and he was trying to get into it. And he said he had borrowed a pass from Rod Hunter, and it had the pictures on it. And then when he went to go in,
7.5.
They recognized it wasn't his picture, so they were pulling him out instead of the guy. He said, now you're dragging me out of here, you're carrying me out of here. And 20 years ago, he said, you carried me in, there's something wrong here.
Skip Stones here in this third. Like the first two ends of play. Barry McPhee.
Come on, hurry. Come on, hurry.
British Columbia has won 3 Briar championships. The last by
Rick Folk in 94. Lyle Dagwin in 64, and Frenchie D'Amour in 48. It was very nice to see the one surviving member of the 1948 rink here today. Actually, Fred Wendell, who played on that team, was part of the opening ceremonies. So Barry has a lot to accomplish here, because BC hasn't won the titles. I talked about Manitoba with the 24 titles, Alberta with 17. BC only has the 3. It would be nice for Barry to bring a 4th to BC.
While Bob Ingram, on the other hand, will look for trying to win Ontario's 8th national championship. The last by Russ Howard in 1993.
Up and down the sheet really doesn't lend to a lot of great or interesting shots. It will be interesting to see, who makes the first move, put some offense into this game.
Put it right here, Bear. A little more on it. Yeah.
Bill Englund from Kingston, Ontario. If a rock picks up some debris but remains in play, can it be cleaned before play resumes?
That's a very good question. I've never seen it done, although I guess it depends on the type of debris.
Huh?
Remember last week we saw actually a piece of metal get onto the ice and get dragged under a stone. I think if it was a piece of debris that might hurt the stone or the ice, then they might take the time to clear the debris before the play continued. I've never seen it if it's just a little piece of debris like a fiber or something.
No, I think you're right, Lynn. I think you could call to the umpire and have them look at it, and if it was going to have an effect on it, I think you can, then they would, clean it, have it cleaned for you.
Right.
Good question.
Hey, have a look. Have a look.
Of course, that's why it's important for the sweepers to always be on top of the stone. If the weight looks close, they must keep it clean so that sort of thing can't accumulate under the rock edge.
Come on, raise it. Hard.
Again, great sweeping by the front end.
As far as it goes. Come on. Shot, Bear,
you can take a stone about 6 feet for an average sweeper, or maybe all the way up to 10 feet.
So imagine now, you take that, if they're not brushing that stone doesn't make the rings.
Yep.
Take that back 6 feet. And that's part of life in a championship, in an arena such as this. You can see Larry Smith peeking over at one of the other games, and the reaction from the crowd, 6,000 strong. Final stone for Ontario. Bob Ingram looking to blank again here in the third.
Quick!
Got it again. Sure does, so it's good shooting. So, Barry, will you make the first move? Will you leave it short? Or will Bob Ingram be forced to make the move? We'll find out when we come back to Kamloops.
This sports break is brought to you by new 7-Up Lights. Clear your mind.
Hi, everybody. I'm Darren DePishin with this TSN Sports Update. 2 games in the slate this afternoon in the National Hockey League, including the red-hot Detroit Red Wings. They are home to the Vancouver Canucks. Stu Grimson looking to intimidate Vancouver, but he also almost tallies on the score sheet. Grimson with a terrific chance from the slot, but Hirsch shuts the door. He's on fire early on. That was not the only big save of the period for him. He also stones Igor Larionov at the side of the net. It is still scoreless after 20 minutes of play. Detroit has won 12 straight in the Joe Louis Arena. Meanwhile, Washington and Boston this afternoon. Joe Juneau has just picked up his 14th goal of the season. It is now 2-0 in the third period of play for the Capitals. Let's send you back to curling. We'll have another update for you in about an hour. See you then.
It's been 2 weeks.
What do you mean?
I mean every day for 2 weeks.
Every day?
Every day.
And it's good?
It's very good.
2 weeks, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What does your wife think?
She thinks it's great. You should try it.
Oh, I'm gonna try it.
Good.
They're talking about Kellogg's All Brand. It's very high in fiber. Make it part of your complete breakfast for 2 weeks and see how you feel about it.
How do you feel about it?
Good.
You feel good.
I knew that I would.
Kellogg's All Brand. Try it for 2 weeks. Love it forever.
Aha! Oh, hi. I'm using this ordinary telescope to take a look at auto repairs. My hunch is we're going to see something kind of interesting here, and look, there it is right now. At some places, you're not allowed to see what's going on with your car. However, at Midas, things are completely different. Look at this. They take you under the car. They let you see just what needs fixing and what can wait. You're in the loop, I tell you. Midas, the way it should be.
Let's update the game for you between Quebec and Manitoba. 2-0 Quebec leading. Final stone, third end, Jeff Stoughton from the Charleswood in Winnipeg. Look at this. He's got to draw a good piece of the 4 through the port. Now the front end on it. And this is where the great brushing Linda talked about comes into play. They'll drag it for a piece of the button tee line for the single. And so Manitoba, Jeff Stoughton trailing Don Westfall from the Buckingham Curling Club 2-1 here at the Riverside Coliseum in Kamloops, British Columbia. Meanwhile, Nova Scotia, the team from Bridgewater, Brian Rayfuse comes back with 1 in the third, still trailing O'Driscoll from Newfoundland 3-2, and a blank in the third means that the Yukon Northwest Territories and Robertson, Richard Robertson from Yellowknife, has last rock he gave against Dave McInnes from Timmins. 3 blanks. 1, 2, 3 means that Ontario still has the hammer. And once again, into the rings comes Barry McPhee with his lead, Bert Hinch.
And Bob Ingram's just going to play the hit on it, so there's no question at this point that this end will be very similar to the 3 previous.
Yes.
It really just once again, if you're not you don't play the game a lot, it really is up to the onus in many cases by when the opposition brings the stone into the rings and doesn't throw it into the free guard zone area. The onus is really on the team with last stone then to make some form of offensive play by either ignoring it or tapping it back or freezing. And by hitting it, what you're doing is you're just saying, well, I'm just prepared to exchange stones with you. Maybe I'll get a wide open miss and get my 2 points that way.
Something, Linda, we became very accustomed to before the free guard zone. That's just most of the way we saw it play.
That's right. We were talking about Briar in the past, the 1991 Briar that Kevin Martin played in, and he and Jeff Stoughton had a game like that. You don't see it as much anymore, although let's be fair, of course, the first round of play, we're seeing these players want to get a bit of a feel for the ice and don't want to take a lot of risks.
Jim Brackett catches the corner. The shooter will spin out the side.
The only thing, and Ray, you always say this, if you wait too long, if you make any mistakes late in the game, that's when you get caught.
Yeah, I'm a great believer that, especially on these great ice conditions with good stones, that you have to force offense. And but in fairness to Bob Ingram, it's his first Briar, and as we mentioned in the opening of this show, that your first Briar is different. I don't care, you prepare for it. You've done lots of curling and all kinds of things, all kinds of cash fields, but when you get here for the first time, it's altogether different. So I'm sure he's just quite, well, obviously he's quite prepared to just play it very simple for a while.
Well, here we are. As Ray mentioned, Linda had the exacta. He had Marilyn Bodo and Alberta, and then Ray, of course.
I think it's pretty good that we picked the top 4.
Whoa, the other way.
A lot of pressure on this week, though, Ray. We're all keeping track down there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, that was a wonderful week of curling. I thoroughly enjoyed. Scott to my hearts. Saw some new faces, and Sherry Sherrich, who got off to a great start and got up a little bit at the end, but it really Linda puts women's curling in such good light, and you see teams like that. There was one of 10 teams of 11 teams we could send to the World Championships and feel very confident being represented so well. I wonder how many times we'll see that Cheryl Coleman shot.
Oh, yes.
Whoa.
No, it was a great week, great curling, and of course we're anticipating just as good a week here once we get rolling and the players settle down and make some of those great shots as well.
You know, the thing is, too, we sell this aspect of the game a little short. This is good shot making. You have to be as precise as anybody to make shots like this.
Yeah, this is certainly, super execution. Going back to the Hamilton game, if you remember clearly, that was before the rule change, and Jeff Stoughton tried desperately to generate offense by putting rocks in front, but there was no free guard zone rule at that time, so Kevin Martin, and they did it as well as anybody who ever played the game, just kept peeling and peeling and peeling and keeping it clean. And now that's the beauty of the rule, that if you do want to generate the offense, you can throw one of those first 2 stones into that area, Linda, and they cannot be peeled.
That's the thing we again forget in Ontario as well. You saw there's Larry Smith, 4 playdowns. This team of Ingram has been knocking heads with the likes of Wernick and Howard for many years,
guys,
just never broken through, and this is his year.
From a fan perspective, you're right, Vic, and from a fan perspective, a game like this up and down the ice is like two good pitchers, like a pitching duel where there's no hits and no walks, and you know, there's a skill, and you admire the talents that are in front of you, except that from a fan and participation point of view, it's not quite as interesting. Yes, the purist who understands the actual, the pitching itself, they like that the odd time. But I'm sure if you saw 1-0 ball games all the time, it would put that sport in the great light that it is.
You mentioned Kevin Martin. Well, he has the afternoon off, and we will see him in his first game when Alberta plays Prince Edward Island. And Peter McDonald from the Silver Fox Curling and Yacht Club in Summerside coming up in round 2, draw 2 tonight. That'll come your way at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, you got it.
So they've moved the stones around a little bit. Barry will be playing the out-turn hit here. He has had some draws, which has been nice for him early in this game, in case they have a chance to get the offense going. Maybe when they get last drop back from Bob Ingram, they might make a play. And so Barry's had his draw weight very well this game. He'll be playing the hit here and try and roll away from that spot. That was a very exciting year, of course. Russ Howard then losing to Ed Lukowicz in '86, but certainly Barry's team played very well that year.
Ray, come on. Ray, real hard.
First year together, Ray and I, Director Richard Wells.
Pretty hard, right up, come on. Hurry. Hard all the way. That's good. Good, Bear.
And you're right, people are talking about this.
Well, she really had her back against the wall here. I believe she was down 3-0, and Cheryl didn't have anything left but this unbelievable shot. She has to catch this stone just in the corner of her, come across and hit the redwood on the forefoot. The interesting thing is she drove it straight back, missing the backwinds, and the shooter then went across the rings to pick up 4 points and put herself right back in the game. Eventually won that game.
That, of course, put Cheryl Coleman right into the final in that first against second Page playoff system game against Ontario. And then the rematch went to Ontario and Marilyn Bodo. In the final on Sunday, Bob Ingram in his first.
That side again. Huh? So I'll turn that side.
Bob wanted to reverse that rollout, to hit and stick that time and hit and roll out the next time.
Well, I've had a few problems on some of these hits. They've gone quite straight in some cases. Near center line, they've curled quite a bit. That's why BC's moved the stone around, trying to find a place that Ontario has a problem with. What they really like, of course, is for Ontario to hit and stay with that last one. They're not expecting a wide open miss, and then BC would have that last drop advantage.
The level of play nowadays, though, to wait for a wide open misses, it could be old and gray.
Exactly.
You talked about it in your opening, Vic, and your opening comment, actually, was the fact that this is one sport or one game in our country that really does bind the country together. I've been doing some reading. I was doing some reading in the week off about the history of the game and things that we can talk about later on. But it really is tradition. It's truly a Canadian game. It brings all the provinces together, and it really makes you, feel proud to be a Canadian. And the simple fact that we have an event like this, I think it's really important to our nation. Looking for the peel again to blank this end, control the game by holding the advantage of last rock. Bob Ingram stepping the weight up. They jump on it, so obviously he is not wide of the room. Wants to roll out. There it is, the nose hit.
He'll sit right there.
I finally struck one.
for his single. So somebody's on the board. Ontario forced to take one. British Columbia, Barry McPhee to have last rock. The leads are Bert Hinch for Ontario, Jim Brackett. Ken Brown throws second stone for BC, Rob Bromfeld for Ontario. The thirds, Tony Eberts and Larry Smith. And the skip for British Columbia from the Kamloops Curling Club is Barry McPhee. And for Ontario from the Ridgetown Curling Club, Bob Ingram. We're in Kamloops at the Riverside Coliseum. First draw, the 96, Labatt Briar.
We make maple leaf wieners for Courtney, who will only eat Mr. Broccoli if he hasn't touched Mr. Gravy. We make maple leaf wieners for Tim, who says peas explode in his mouth. And for Caitlin, whose scrambled eggs must be shaped like little boats. Maple leaf wieners have a taste made especially for kids. For Kenny, who won't eat anything with sauce, and Jason, who won't eat anything without sauce, there will always be maple leaf.
Maybe you think only those jet set types need a Nokia cellular phone.
Hi, it's me. Flight's delayed.
Well, now Nokia's making cellular phones so easy.
Late. Can I skip my bath?
They're practically child's play.
Attention, Flight 11 is delayed.
Can I call you back?
With Nokia's big, easy-to-read screens, last number redial, and sleek designs.
No, don't hold dinner. I'm eating my body weight in hot dogs. No, wait up. You gotta tuck me in.
So get set to join the jet set. Nokia, Europe's leading cellular phone, also made in America, connecting people.
A pretty important invention. Just try living without it. But sometimes it just doesn't leave you feeling clean enough. Maestro, let's demonstrate. See what I mean? These are new Cottonelle Moist Wipes. You use them after you use this. And they leave you feeling cleaner.
All clean.
They have soothing aloe and they're flushable. So if you want your family to feel fresher, cleaner, just better, this is one invention you won't want to live without.
New Cottonelle Moist Wipes. Advanced personal hygiene from Cottonelle.
In a clinic like this, I can't stop for a headache. The doctor here told me about Advil. It's tough on pain, and it really works fast. In fact, one Advil is as effective as 2 regular-strength Tylenol. And for cold and sinus congestion, there's Advil Cold and Sinus. It's tough on colds, like Advil is on pain. And now it's available without a prescription.
Advil and Advil Cold and Sinus. Tough on pain, tough on cold congestion.
Updating the game between the Yukon Northwest Territories and Northern Ontario, 1-0. The team of Dave McInnes from Timmins leading. Final stone, Richard Robertson from Yellowknife. Been here before, but first time skipping a team in the National Championship. Oh, he'll flash it by that stone, sitting top 4. So another steal of 1. Northern Ontario now leading 2-0 as they go to the 5th end of play. The team from way up north in Yellowknife has last rock. Now the question is, who sang that way up north?
Port.
Oh, yes, you're right. Quebec against Manitoba. Don Westfall against Jeff Stoughton as they play the 4th. Quebec leading 2-1. Final stone. He'll crash out in front. They have a look, and it will be... They putting the measure on it? No, it'll probably be, it appeared to be 1 for Manitoba, but we'll update you and tell you for sure what it is. As we go back, we have 1 in our game now. Ontario, BC, as we go to the 5th, and British Columbia has last rock.
Well, Ontario threw their first stone into the free guard zone area after having hit the Stuckland end, so that's the rock. The red rock just sitting outside the rings. And Barry drew to the open side.
Usually an indication where he feels the guard is actually so tight to the rings it's too tough to come around, so Barry did go open. It forces the opponent to play on that stone. Ontario looking for the hit and roll.
That's not bad.
They'll make it. Now it does give BC a chance to come down to that stone because it is behind the tee line.
Well, there you go. Manitoba was indeed a steal of 1 for a 2-2 tie against Quebec, so now you're caught up.
Well, it's an opportunity that Barry could use, but it's he obviously feels that the front stone is too tight to the ring, so he's going to run it off and try and roll to the corner. The stone in the rings for Ontario is behind the tee line, and you could go around and try and get to the top of the 4-foot and with a rock behind it to really generate some offense, maybe your second point. You can get it, run it back here.
He was actually going for the roll first. That was his definite plan. At the end, when he saw curling, he decided to try for the double, but it didn't curl quite enough to make it. And so now Ontario has the one deep and the guard up.
Rob Rumpelt, the Ontario second. Here in the fifth, Ontario with a 1-0 lead.
Well, a good shot here can really force this end a bit. It seems to be staying out.
No. Got nothing yet.
Find that out turn just outside the 4-foot strip that's down the center, and that is sometimes where we see it go a little bit straighter. Makes a nice movement close to center.
That's good.
Yeah, it finished nicely.
Okay, Kenny, a little hit flop.
Double possibility. Hit it right on the nose. Get them both.
Ken Brown.
Whoa.
Brown has registered one double so far. Let's see if he can make his second one here.
Okay, Ken.
Not this time.
I had a season where I made a lot of doubles. Unfortunately, I made them because I'd missed my first shot.
Yeah, when you're the lead, that's about the only way you can make
give it
the
a little
double.
That's right. Good to pick that up.
Got room now. A lot of room again. How's the weight?
You skips are so smart.
Whoa. A lot of room. A lot of room.
All by itself.
Line's not bad.
All
Get
by
ready.
itself.
It'll finish well here. This is the same spot they just threw down here. I'm looking for it to finish a little bit more. That's a little better than the last one. A little bit tighter. Good shot.
Well, at the start of the game, we were checking the times between the hog lines. That's a little bit different time than Ray talked about earlier. Between the hog lines, it draws about 13.5 seconds. For a guard, you have to pull back the weight. It takes 15.5 seconds between those hog lines. Takeout weight's about 9.5, but we will see, especially that center 4-foot band, start to slide even more easily, and those times might actually increase, so we will keep track of them for you.
Got it. Byers, you can clear off the front. Oh, he gets the rub and gets the stone sitting top 12. Well, by scoring 1 in 4, Ontario avoids a record that stands with 1992 is the last time a Briar game went 4 blank ends. That was PEI and Yukon Northwest Territories. PEI eventually scoring 1 in 5.
Looks like the ice has been tightened up a little bit.
For line.
Try and get it to move a bit more.
It's a chance to tuck behind the center guard. Even take it right to the top 4-foot would be perfect.
No line.
Line's not bad.
No line.
Whoa.
Having to wait on it for that line.
Whoa.
The weight is close to what we talked about for draw, so it should be fine that way.
Great movement at the end.
Behind. My goodness.
Sensational shot.
Larry Smith absolutely sucks it behind the center line guard. Sits top 4.
I'll say, great shot.
And there was the wonderful finish as it came into the 4-foot, so we are going to see nice come-arounds on those center stones.
Where'd that come from?
Watch how it moves here. It really takes a move. We talked about the late finish in the Reading the Ice segment, and there's a very, very good example of it.
Great brushing, too. They waited and waited for it to make its move before they got on it. The weight was perfect, and they took it into the 4-foot.
Come on, hurry!
He's trying the run back.
Maybe.
Movement the other way. Caught a corner, nothing.
That's the worst scenario.
Should have jumped it right away. It would have been all right. That last weight was pretty well there.
Get it right in here. To indicate right here, or even if you overlap this rock here, is perfect.
Tony Ebert seemed to suggest, Linda, that had they brushed it earlier, they might have been able to hold it up.
He throws very quiet weight, even on those run backs, and so if they tried to get on it early, it might have held it, but I'm not sure because it certainly curled hard at the end.
Larry Smith. Remember, British Columbia now with last rock for the first time as we play 5, 1-0 Ontario leading.
Easy, easy.
Overlap it.
Good.
He chipped it a bit.
Yeah, they were trying to get it by it just to get around behind it. And it just really came across, which is a great indication for this could be a very interesting week.
Think back to last week in Thunder Bay and the brushing required for the stones there, that in fact you had to brush early. You couldn't let it die because you couldn't pick up the brushing. Here, though, you're suggesting that in fact if you wait for the movement, you can still do something with the brushing.
Yeah, the rocks are running a little freer than we saw last week in Thunder Bay, that's for sure. A little wider running surface.
Very nice shot.
That was a great shot.
Lovely shot by Tony Eberts, gets the raise and sits one.
Good sweep, guys. Good sweep, Kenny.
Good call by Barry, Linda. It's a good call by Barry. They pick up the brushing just at the hog line, and it's absolutely a perfect raised takeout. Now watch where the raised stone stops, right behind the long guard, and that's a sensational shot. So Bob Ingram has to play the run-through.
But I got on it right off the top.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I called him off.
Well, I did too. I worked curled hard at the end.
Talking about the first stone that over-curled and that the sweeping might have held it, but that second one was perfect. Ontario will now have to make the run-back attempt on that red stone just to the left of center.
First stone for the Ontario skip, Bob Ingram, and how much of a potential problem is that Ontario stone that sits at the back 8?
Well, it's mostly getting this one out because if they get it straight back, even if it jams, they'll be covered.
Absolutely threw it from the hip. Straight back.
Try. Kelly had her. Yep.
I think he's going to go around the front one again, Linda. He's already here.
Yeah. Go across the face.
Across the face. Even a little chip is fine.
Go back 4, somewhere in there. Even if it stays out and goes to that bump on that back one, it isn't all that bad.
I'm going to come across the face of this stone, just to try and tick it on this edge and roll into this area here, pushing this stone here, and you'll be line 2 spread out.
The nice thing is he mentioned there's lots of options. Even if he pushes it straight back, it'll go back from the red stone and his shooter will roll away. So lots of ways to spread these rocks out and sit 2.
Come on, hurry! Oh! No line!
Barry McPhee and the first for the BC skip.
The other thing you can do here is you just tuck it around behind the red one like I first illustrated. You cover half of the back one, and it's a good shot.
Roll this one way over, way back.
There's a little bump
good
and
shot
the flip in behind. Left him a double though, Linda, I think, right? Skinny there.
Very thin double.
A hit and roll though. I think he has to make a play on that shot rock.
There it is from the top.
I get the roll, we're all right. So if I don't get the roll, he's just going to hit for 2.
Yeah.
Heard him say the hit and roll.
It's a real, yeah. We better get a
inside roll.
Yeah, we better take the inside roll in.
Might even get off the back of this one.
Yeah, we got to hit and roll in.
Yeah.
Got to hit and roll.
It's taken a while for the game to get going, but first crack at hammer, and Barry McPhee in British Columbia starting to put some pressure on Ontario, trailing 1-0.
All right, there's
Labatt Blue thing that filled with probably prairie water or whatever.
Starting to see the contrast between the teams as far as the weight they throw. Rob Ingram throws a lot more weight, takes a lot less ice.
Final stone for Ontario.
Hurry!
It'll be a draw for 2.
Okay, Bob.
Suggesting, Linda, if he plays more controlled weight there, he might be able to hold the shooter in the case like that.
Oh, it's just adjusting the weight to the weight and ice, but he definitely throws more weight. And you notice that even on the raised back that Tony Ebert's played, they play it a lot more quietly. I think it gives you a little more control, but you definitely have to ensure you take enough ice because of the late movement on this sheet.
He's in that 8 foot by about 2 inches, so.
Barry just telling the front end exactly where they have to be with this. You have to be into the 8 foot by about 3 inches. If the other one's in 2 inches.
That's it. Nice for Barry, almost a duplicate shot of his first one. And he's thrown a lot of draws so far.
Line's good. Wait only.
Bert Hinch. Ken Brown is the rusher.
Just
closest to the stone.
Clean it. Clean it. Good job, Barrett. Atta boy. Good guy.
For 2 here in the 5th, and BC takes the lead as they'll go to their 5-minute 5th end break. British Columbia, first time with last rock.
Thanks, Bob.
Picks up the deuce and accepts congratulations from Bob Ingram. Ontario to have last rock in 6 as we go live to the game between Newfoundland, Nova Scotia. 3-2 as they play 5. And this the final stone for the Newfoundland skip, Frank O'Driscoll, St. John's Curling Club. Hit and stick, don't roll too far, and he doesn't for his single point in a 4-2 lead. Newfoundland ahead of Nova Scotia after 5. O'Driscoll again, one of those first-time skips at this Labatt Briar in Kamloops. Briar Bear like it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Darren Detishin with his TSN Sports Update. Couple of games underway in the National Hockey League this afternoon. Let's start with the Washington Capitals in Boston to take on the Bruins. Early on in this contest, Sylvain Cote with a centering pass. It hits Bill Ranford, Craig Berube, and Dean Chenault before going in. The Chief gets it. It's 1-0. Third period. Pavanka to Joe Juneau. He'll blast one from the dot. That's his 14th of the season. That makes it 2-0. That is the final. Jim Carey did record the shutout, his 5th. Another score to tell you about: Vancouver and Detroit. They are currently scoreless in the second period of play. The Wings went into this contest red hot at home. They had won 12 in a row. We've got a full edition of Sports Desk coming up at 6:30 Eastern Time. We'll see you then.
It's been 2 weeks.
What do you mean?
I mean every day for 2 weeks.
Every day?
Every day.
And it's good?
It's very good.
2 weeks, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What does your wife think?
She thinks it's great. You should try it.
Oh, I'm gonna try it.
Good.
They're talking about Kellogg's All Brand. It's very high in fiber. Make it part of your complete breakfast for 2 weeks and see how you feel about it.
How do you feel about it?
Good.
You feel good.
I knew that I would.
Kellogg's All Brand. Try it for 2 weeks. Love it forever.
Your car is a high-precision instrument. Take it to AutoPro. With qualified personnel and state-of-the-art equipment, it's the expert on brakes, front-wheel drive, steering, suspension, and mufflers. All protected by AutoPro's national warranty. AutoPro, the largest network of car care professionals.
We make maple leaf wieners for Courtney, who will only eat Mr. Broccoli if he hasn't touched Mr. Gravy. We make maple leaf wieners for Tim, who says peas explode in his mouth. And for Caitlin, whose scrambled eggs must be shaped like little boats. Maple leaf wieners have a taste made especially for kids. For Kenny, who won't eat anything with sauce, and Jason, who won't eat anything without sauce, there will always be maple leaf.
I'll have the chili.
Chili? You should know better.
And I'll have the fries.
Fries? You should know better.
And now I'll have Tums Ultra.
New Tums Ultra is our highest strength ever. It goes to work in seconds, neutralizing stomach acid to relieve heartburn and indigestion fast. And unlike many antacids, Tums Ultra has calcium.
Something your body uses anyway. You'll like that.
I'll have the chili. I know. I should know.
One of these men had gray hair just 5 minutes ago. Can you guess who used Just for Men hair coloring? Just apply, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Who used Just for Men?
I did, in just 5 minutes.
Bring back the look of natural color with Just for Men.
Updating the game between the Yukon Northwest Territories and Northern Ontario. Dave McInnes from Timmins leading 2-0. Final stone, Richard Robertson from Yellowknife makes the hit and stick. Back 12 for the singles, so they'll go to the 5th end break. Northern Ontario leading 2-1 over the Yukon Northwest Territories. Yeah, lots of souvenirs. That's what it's all about. Souvenirs, taking home something to remember, the 96 Labatt Briar here in Kamloops. Stay with us right after the game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Interstate Batteries.
Yeah.
Oh please, just help me this once.
Next time, get a dependable Interstate battery. We check them before you buy them for fresh power. Guaranteed.
Built 3 years ago at a cost of about $15 million, the beautiful Riverside Coliseum hosts the Labatt Briar. For 1996, our featured game is in its 5th end break, BC leading 2-1 over Ontario. So we'll go to Sheet A, right next door, Quebec, Manitoba. As we get ready to play the final 2 stones, it is 2-2, and it is Quebec with Last Rock and Jeff Stoughton from the Charleswood in Winnipeg getting ready for his final stone, the red stone. Top 4 and covered belongs to Quebec.
If you count them, you'll find that every rock is in play in this end. Looks like Jeff's playing the long raise on the yellow onto red.
We looked at this and the number of combinations that are possible. The red stone, front of the 12-foot, is wide open. It looks like that would be the easier raise, but it's the angle of the red stone that's shot rock that is difficult in this case. They're worried about if they played that one, it wouldn't go out, so they're having to play a double raise onto a stone in the house, top 8-foot, that's the yellow one, onto shot stone.
Final stone for the Manitoba skip, Jeff Stout. Now, can he get in there and make it a draw for 2?
Jeff makes that shot. He really would have put himself in great position. He was on the outside of it all the way. That's the kind of shot that he plays very well, too. He throws those up-weight shots very well, normally. So it's a draw for 2, a tough draw for 2.
Made a little tougher by that red stone top 12. He's got to go wide enough to get around it. That is the stone that was just played there by Quebec to try and protect the house. But now they do have to cope with it to get around it and catch the piece of 4-foot.
32-year-old Don Westfall is the skip of this team. Again, one of those skips who's been here before, or players have been here before, but this is his first time skipping. He always had Pierre Charette as his skip. Pierre Charette is still with this team, but he's now out in front and brushing. He's the lead for Don Westfall. Needs a good piece of the 4. Did it come enough? I don't think so.
Very nice try. I don't think it did either.
1 is the indication. 1 red for Quebec in the 5th. And it'll be a 3-2 Quebec lead over Manitoba as they go to their 5th end break. Our 6th end featured game, British Columbia against Ontario, just underway. And rocks in play, Ontario with Last Rock.
Well, with BC getting there too, they brought the stone into the house. Corner guard went up. BC protected, and so there's now a guard in front of shot stone, and that's what Ontario is going after, trying to run it back. Won't quite get at that shot rock, but will roll away.
Well, a great shot on the last end by Tony Eberts really turned that end around. It looked like Ontario was lying in pretty nice position, lying a couple, and then a nice raise takeout with a perfect exchange of position. Set that deuce up for Barry McPhee, the team from Kamloops. Ingram recognizing that he would like to get the extra point back, as Linda mentioned, ignored the shot stone, threw up a corner. Barry now is exchanging the color of these stones by hitting the short guard, hoping to get a little roll over in front of his shot rock that sits in the forefoot.
Ken was definitely outside when he released that. Never got off center line.
Gives Ontario a chance now to play the hit and roll.
So we get the long roll.
So desires. What they've called for.
Rob Rumpel.
Stay close. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, not moving. Set. All right.
When ice is a little bit straighter from the outside in than it is from the inside out, it is tough to get the long roll with that turn. It's a little easier if you play it the other direction, the center line turn, so that you can catch it a little early and get that roll behind the corner guards.
Just want to point out that Newfoundland actually hit for a deuce in 5, so they now lead 5-2 over Nova Scotia as you get yourself caught up.
BC doesn't actually want the roll. That's why they don't mind playing in this particular spot. They're hoping to keep the stone over here and not let Ontario gather any stones behind those two red stones to our right.
Get yourself caught up in what's happening around the NHL prior to a busy Saturday night with SO NHL Saturday night. Gord Miller, Bob McKenzie. Like we've talked, they would think about the Gretzky trade this week.
Yep.
Once again, Bob Ingram looking for the roll across the rings and behind the two red stones sitting just outside the rings.
There's the roll. Now will it sit in time?
Okay, good try.
Just left it a little too long. Be interesting to see what Barry does here, Linda. Will he go to the open side? Will he try and go in behind the corner guards and stay short of the T line? Will he play a center line guard of his own? This is the more defensive move of the three I just mentioned. He's going to draw again away from the red stones that are out in front of the rings to the open side. In-turn draw.
For Tony Eberts.
No. No.
These are very important shots. It looks easy, just an open draw to the rings, but if it's not in the house, gives Ontario a chance to use those guards.
Now, come on. Right to the tee. Get it to the tee. Okay, that's good. Shot, don't. Sweep, guys.
Bob will be looking for the hit on this, as he was last time, and roll over here behind these two.
Ontario with the hammer here in the 6th, the trailing 2-1.
Stay close.
Larry Smith.
Stay close. Stay close. No, no. Straight up. No, not yet.
Just didn't make the big move.
Back here, Barrett.
Once again, as Linda mentioned, Barry would like to hit this on the nose, even roll a little bit to the outside. Not far to the outside, though. Otherwise, Bob Ingram will ignore it and go behind the corners, I would imagine.
Good fit, guys. Got dope.
It's Kind of nice to have Tony on the team for not just his shot making, but also for the way he calls the angles. Of course, the shot making in that last end made the raise and gave BC the chance for 2, but he called the angles so well. So when it comes to his skips shots, he's got a lot of experience in the house to help out.
No, no. Go the other way. Get it!
No rule this time for Ontario, and Smith, as he sits right there.
Well, your comments were interesting, Lyndon, and they tried this outside in shot 3 times, and I kind of agree. It may have been a little easier to get the roll with the other turn coming in towards it. It seems that the minute you step the weight up a little bit with that outside in shot, it will run pretty straight. And then, of course, because you are playing a takeout, you're hesitant to play back ring weight, for example. We saw earlier in the end where if they hit it a little too thin and rolled out.
Ontario does have last rock. They haven't been able to get anything going behind those corner guards as yet.
Skip Stone's here in 6. The first from BC's Barry McPhee.
Real hard, come on! Push hard!
It was a great view of Barry. He looked a little inside. They jumped on it as soon as he let it go.
No.
Didn't want that roll. He was trying to keep the play away from there. It doesn't even matter if it stays in the rings. It gives the Ontario team a chance to go behind.
Turn it in a bit.
127. Barry wanted to hit that stone and stay right there, not roll over to that position. Now this allows Bob Ingram to come around here, put a stone in this area here behind this guard, making it difficult for it to be removed and set up the potential second point. Pretty nice circles, eh, Vic?
I think they better be good circles today.
Be close, eh?
The moose is lurking outside, isn't he? He didn't draw it.
Turn it in a bit.
Might have had a little help.
It's a pretty straight spot. I didn't want to give him my usual feed, eh?
I think with that kind of weight, you can like it's still coming down.
He knew it, didn't he, Barry? He said he was a little inside.
Yeah, and he was just referring to the fact that his outturns are usually a little straighter than most, and so he definitely did get it going to make it curl that much.
No line.
No line. The opportunity for Ontario now and Bob Ingram to possibly set themselves up for a deuce here in the 6th.
Just at the end.
In front of the tee line, they got to keep this in front of the tee line, not behind it.
Keep it high. You got no line yet.
Just a touch too much weight. He threw it there by himself, and they didn't throw it there with brushing.
Pretty quiet, eh?
Trying to hear Bob's comment.
It's not bad. But a foot shorter would have been nicer. A couple feet.
Yeah, it hugged the line so long down there, you know. How's it look? Huh?
You heard him say a foot shorter. If he takes that rock there and puts it up here, even a little bit more curl, then he's in a position to score a deuce possibly. This way, Barry can get at it.
Does, of course, have to be careful of that yellow stone, which is his stone that rolled over. If it jams, Bob would have a chance for the 2 still.
The line is down there, so you better ask the boys.
You can only see a corner of it, so this is no easy shot. As you mentioned, he could be jammed on the back one.
Come on, hurry! Hurry! Come on, hurry hard! Hurry! Hurry! Come on, hurry! Whoa! Whoa! Right off, right off. Come on, cut a little bit more, a little more.
Cut a little more, he says. Jammed it.
Sorry, Bear, my fault.
But he spilled it out in the back. So a break for British Columbia and Barry McPhee.
Well, Tony did say it was his fault. He got the sweepers on early because he thought it would curl, but Barry was right. He was calling the sweepers off, and it did curl enough to avoid the complete jam.
Yeah.
And now Ontario can blank it.
Yes.
Right away.
Turn! Quick! Real hard!
Looking for the blank. And he won't get it again. So for the second straight end where Ontario has had last rock in the 4th and now the 6th. Ingram is forced to take one and even it up 2-2.
The 1996 Labatt Brier is brought to you by CIBC Trust, your will and estate planning and investment management professionals. By Unitel, quality long distance for less. And by the Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited.
My dream house would be a big house with stairs that go like this and with a big chandelier. There would be a humongous horse. I'd have the main floor, and it would have a room for my pets. Rusty. His name is Rusty.
To see how you can be home free faster, get expert help, the right plan, and guaranteed competitive rates, see your CIBC personal banker or call now.
1,000 times bigger than this.
At CIBC, we're working to see what you see.
Out on the ice, I don't score points for how my hair looks. But after the game, in front of the press, when the cameras are just inches away and millions of fans are watching, my hair has to look great, and great hair can't have flakes. No way. So I get rid of them with Head & Shoulders. It keeps my dandruff in check and my hair looking great. Hey, you can't hide under a helmet all the time.
Head & Shoulders, every day.
With great hair, can't have flakes.
Now, there's a brand new motor oil made to handle the stresses on your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-road driving. Extreme temperatures. Especially towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get a synthetic blend that can take the punishment. 4x4. It's new from Quaker State. The intelligent oil for hard-working engines.
When my Joey had diaper rash, I felt like crying too. I wish I'd known about this. Baby Fresh Diaper Rash Prevention. The only brand that helps prevent diaper rash. No other brand lays down an invisible protective barrier that helps block irritating wetness. Plus it's big, thick, and incredibly gentle. And to us, nothing could feel better than that. Baby Fresh Diaper Rash Prevention. Cleans gently, protects gently.
Hello, my name is Bruce Sparling, and my job on the TSN curling coverage is to operate the overhead cameras. My extra job today is the brain teaser for Linda, Ray, and Vic. Jeff Stoughton and Grant Odishaw are only 2 of 3 players to accomplish this. Name the third. Good luck.
We'll give you the answer a little later. Next, Sparky. And we'll go to the game between Nova Scotia and Newfoundland as they play the 6th. 5-2, Newfoundland leading. Yellow Rocks belong, of course, to Nova Scotia. Brian Rafuse from Bridgewater does have the hammer. I'm trying to think how the heck he can get in there.
Boy, that one lonely red stone back 8 foot, maybe biting the 4 foot.
Yeah, that's all the problem,
the
isn't it?
yellows,
Yep.
Yeah.
Best you can do is maybe, what, an angle raise for 2? Somebody's looking at here? Or?
That's what he's looking at, I think, Vic. Yeah. He's got to hit it just on the outside, a little off the center, and push it to the 4 foot.
It looks like he's playing it with weight. He's playing it with hit weight. He's trying to run it back on the one in the house, I guess.
Boy, wouldn't that be something? This has the possibility of being 4 or 5. Oh, he crashed on his own, and did he get in? Look at that, he spun it up top. Did he get his one? He did.
He got fortunate.
Boy, he did. He actually rebounded and came up and back into the house for the single for Nova Scotia, and Brian Rafuse cuts the lead now to 2. Newfoundland, and O'Driscoll from St. John's still leading after 6. Ontario, British Columbia tied 2-2 as we go back to our featured game. 7th end. BC with last rock. This the BC believe this is Bert Hinch.
Well, Bob Ingram tried to roll out on the last end, and he hit and stuck, and that's puts him in position of giving up last rock. So he threw a rock into the free guard zone area, just close to the rings end. Barry McPhee just tapped it back. And it's now in a position where Bob Ingram is guarding the stone, the shot rock sitting right in the 4-foot, just in front of the butt.
Whoa! Line's not bad.
Now the camera you're watching this with, or the camera we're shooting this so you can watch, is Bruce Sparling's camera, the Panavision camera. Bruce has been with us a long time too.
Come on,
since 1988. He's been part of our TSN crew.
Both velvet fingers of that camera. Delicate touch.
Should have been on that a little quicker.
Very delicate little person. 6'3", 245 pounds. In this corner.
Yeah.
And handles a licorice Twizzler like no one else.
And Bruce has been with us a long time. Lots of fun.
No curling there at the end.
The BC second, Ken Brown.
Being asked to play quietly at the shot stone. That guard did overcurl a little bit and does expose the shot rock, so they're going to play with backline weight.
Lean right off! Right off!
And we know it'll move late with the quiet weight. Will it come in a little bit with this?
Take it over there. Take it. Come on, Kurt. Here. Go, Bert. Go.
Perfect shot. That's all you can ask for. Great looking ice, Vic. We're going to see lots of terrific raises, tap backs, super surface.
Regular. Whoa.
Rob Rumpel.
All the way, right on the edge.
Tried to roll the other way when they couldn't get the roll behind the guard because they don't want to sit in that middle spot, giving BC the chance for the roll.
Check the scores of your favorite team, your province, here at the Labatt Briar.
Yep. Whoa. No, lay on through.
Curl. Sorry. Good.
Again.
Gives Bob Ingram a chance, of course, to go around the center guard. There's the crystal clear call.
Still 7 guys or no? Top 4. What?
Now, Linda, they're talking about 7. What number is, where's that from?
So they're timing either touchdown or back line to the far tee line.
Whoa,
so that's the longer distance, higher number. They're all just a measure to decide how much force the stone needs to get down the other end.
Wait. Whoa. Oh, front of the
Now
tee.
it's in the hands of the sweepers.
On its own. Stay close. Stay close. On the tee. Come on. Whoa. Shot.
And the sweepers do a good job. They leave it until the last moment, get that late finish, and that stone is nicely covered.
Throw a hack, Barry. Throw a hack. No, hit this. Hit it. Oh, you got to make a good guard.
The team wanted to make a play on shot stone. We saw how much finish there was from that center line side. They thought they could get at it. Barry said no, he wanted to peel the guard.
Tony Ebert.
What are we doing here? Yeah, throw that hard.
That is what you don't want.
I wouldn't mind
And
it.
you don't have to know a lot about curling to know that that's not a good shot.
That's all right, too.
After making the decision not to make a play on the stone, that's the very defensive move, is to get rid of the guard. But of course now Ontario has a chance to put a second one in.
Until the end, did you? No. Whoa. Whoa.
Larry Smith.
Whoa. Does it. It's a lot of room. Well, where is it? A lot of room. Whoa. Is it in the house? Quick. Quick.
Here's the late movement we talked about. They just moved sideways, especially with very little rotation on the handle. They just kind of slide across.
Oh, but look at this. There's that brushing, how they were able to pick it up and carry that extra.
Exactly right. Exactly right. You mentioned that earlier, Vic.
Yeah, really.
They bite the top 8 in lie 2.
Super position, Linda.
Yes.
Throw that? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to say some great come-arounds on those centerline rocks.
Almost left it too long, and just jumped up on it and held it. Great shot.
This doesn't take the other handle. We're all right. I got to try to get one of those out of there.
Just show a soft weight. So make sure we stick around, that's all.
So now they're, Linda, going to the shot that Tony wanted to play the first time.
Making a play on one of these stones. They hope to hit the front one and roll over a little bit, and hope Ontario will then have to make a play on their shot, opening things up a little bit.
Whoa. Come on. Three hard. Three. Three hard, 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 hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa.
Got it by. They'll get one.
It's important the yellow one stays because Ontario might have to go hit it.
What do you think?
If they do, it'll leave an attempt for BC later at Shotstone.
No, we haven't got anything out there that can raise.
No. Don't want to set a double up, though, eh? If I can hit and stick that out there, it's not all bad.
That's pretty accessible, though, isn't it? That red one?
Yeah.
It's not all bad if we make him take one here either, is it?
Thinking here. Doesn't want to set up the double, you heard him say. You have to hit this one. That's what Linda talked about.
Hit and stick this one.
Like that?
Well, listen to them.
I think so. Don't you? Yeah, let's take this one here.
The skip wants to play that one. The front end wants to come behind.
Okay. Have room the other end?
Yeah, it'll be down there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just normal here.
Let's go back to something we heard, an expression we heard last week for the first time here, cheap hammer. Is this what you're thinking about here? Is that what Bob Ingram is thinking? If I put one out here, hit and stick, I give him this one, I get the hammer back.
Well, it's really his thought process here is that the guys in the front end think that they maybe should go behind or play the guard and overlap the two guards so there's no raise back and go for the point. Bob is, he's saying if we don't make it right, we could set up a possible double, especially if we bring it to the rings. And I don't know, at 6-1 half time. I think in the rocks are sufficient so well, I would make an offensive move and stay and try and get the point. But, you know.
And the only problem is BC can make a play on Shotstone and tap it back a little bit and still go 4-2 this end. It's not just a sure one.
Right.
We know it can curl nicely, so they could try and tap it and hope for a jam.
I think it's an opportunity here for Ontario really to, put the pressure on. It's only 1 point you're trying to steal, of course, but.
Maybe guard. Oh, I don't know. Find out.
How's the ice look, Ken? Well, no, we're just going to bump back. Look like too much to bump back? Tighten it up a bit, go. Tighten it up a bit.
And sit right in front of it.
Better?
So Linda talked about Barry McPhee just playing the tap back,
well,
move
we're
it
trying
back.
to move back to the back four.
Tighten up the ice.
They were a little worried about the ice. This is the range. They know exactly what to do for a draw here, but you've got that extra weight. It'll go make it go a little bit straighter, so they tighten it up a bit to allow for that extra weight.
Right up. Come on, hurry! Come on, come on! Hurry, hard, 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 hard! Come on, hurry,
Boy,
hurry,
does this
hurry!
break
Needs
quickly.
weight. Come on, needs weight. Come on, hurry, 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 hurry! Right up,
Got it
come on,
by. Now do they have
hurry,
enough
hurry,
to
hurry.
move it and leave themselves shot?
No.
Just needed more weight. It'll certainly walk across there. There's no question about that.
Yep. Middle of the 8.
Where I came up?
I give you a little less. We can be right in here.
All right. Close the hole.
Okay.
Look at that stone.
You're really working on those circles this game.
I'm quite proud of you responding to the challenge of the other moose. I think that's great.
Right on the center line, Bob indicated, making the draw to the button more difficult for Barry McPhee.
Final stone for the Ontario skip. British Columbia does have Hammer playing 7 of a 2-2 tie.
Just clean. Clean it. Look. Wow. Whoa. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Okay.
As good as he could do with it.
Very nice shot.
Well, there are a couple of shots Barry could try here for his 2 still. Very difficult shots, of course. Tony standing next to the yellow one on the right. They could try and play off of it to get at the red one.
You have to call Cheryl Coleman for that shot.
That's right.
Not bad. Where do we hit it? Can't hurt anything. Yeah, where do we hit it? About half. Not a little less than half. Huh? A little less than half. There? Yeah. Okay. throw normal at it. Yeah. Okay. Need about a third, Bear.
This is where the experience of the third comes into play, because once it's released, the stone is all the thirds to call this angle, and this is a very tough angle.
If you're playing 7 here, you've got to draw the button, or a good piece of it anyway, for your single. Oh, first of all, is the button, can you get there? Is that draw available to you?
Very tough, Dick, but you could, I guess, you could get enough to just get by the front.
Maybe watch this one.
There's a good shot of the angle they have to play. They want to hit the yellow, come over and hit the shot stone, and hopefully keep the shooter in that 4-foot area for the 2 points.
A little less than half. A little less than half, you heard him say in the hack.
Final stone, British Columbia here in 7, looking at getting 2.
Real hard, come on, hurry! Hurry!
Ken Brown, Bird Hinch. Tony Ebert's calling the angle. Off it comes. Look at it go. Oh, Cheryl Coleman, he's a graduate of your school. Oh, it stopped in time. One, 2 for British Columbia.
Thanks, Tom. Not just a game.
Men, is gray hair sneaking up on you, right under your nose?
It is sneaking up on me. Here, too.
You need Just for Men gel. Brush in, and in 5 minutes, rinse.
It's the sure thing for a natural look.
Just for Men gel.
It's been 2 weeks.
What do you mean?
I mean every day for 2 weeks.
Every day?
Every day.
And it's good?
It's very good.
2 weeks, huh?
Oh, yeah.
What does your wife think?
She thinks it's great. You should try it.
Oh, I'm gonna try it.
Good.
They're talking about Kellogg's All Bran. It's very high in fiber. Make it part of your complete breakfast for 2 weeks and see how you feel about it.
How do you feel about it?
Good.
You feel good.
I knew that I would.
Kellogg's All Bran. Try it for 2 weeks. Love it forever.
I think Ford has had its best successes when we've gone in our own direction. This is why we've given the Canadian car buyer a choice between the Taurus sedan or wagon at the same very affordable price. So they can choose the Taurus that meets their individual needs. Sedan or wagon. It's an original idea. It's a good idea.
Redesigned, re-engineered, reinvented, the 1996 Ford Taurus.
We make maple leaf wieners for Courtney, who will only eat Mr. Broccoli if he hasn't touched Mr. Gravy. We make maple leaf wieners for Tim, who says peas explode in his mouth. And for Caitlin, whose scrambled eggs must be shaped like little boats. Maple leaf wieners have a taste made especially for kids. For Kenny, who won't eat anything with sauce, and Jason, who won't eat anything without sauce, there will always be maple leaf.
One of these men had gray hair just 5 minutes ago. Can you guess who used Just for Men hair coloring? Just apply, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Who used Just for Men?
I did, in just 5 minutes.
Bring back the look of natural color with Just for Men.
Updating the game between Quebec and Manitoba. Jeff Stout with his final stone. He made an absolutely brilliant hit and roll with his first one to get himself out of trouble. Now he has the draw for 2, and the Manitoba skip will come up light, getting only 1, and that will tie it 3-3 with Quebec, the team from Buckingham, to have Last Rock playing 7. 7th end now, Yukon Northwest Territories against Northern Ontario. This is Richard Robertson from Yellowknife against Dave McInnes from the McIntyre Club in Timmins. Gets the hit, then a little bit of a roll to score 2. And now he's back into it against Northern Ontario, trailing by 1. Well, last week, of course, we saw Cheryl Coleman make great shots, and one brilliant shot. And right now, we see Barry McPhee.
Well, Linda talked about this, you know, as Barry went down to throw it, and he absolutely threw it perfectly, and he catches the stone exactly where he wants to. You'll see it make contact here. Comes across, it hits the red stone. Right here, it hits the red stone. Now watch what happens. Now it starts to roll. Your opposition, of course, cannot, because it's in front of that tee line, sweep that stone, and that's 2 points.
No hurting.
You know, it's the first day. You're already looking for money. It's going to be a long week here in Kamloops. Tony Evertson, the call on that stone, the 3rd for BC.
Yeah, it was a good call and very good sweeping because it started to move on them, and the sweepers held it so that it caught the right portion of that stone that was outside the house, and there wasn't a lot that Ontario could do to protect that, but what a great shot by Barry McPhee. And now Ontario is looking to be more aggressive. They've given up 2 two-enders to BC. They're looking for their first by putting up a corner guard and ignoring that shot stone. BC, of course, will try and protect.
BC lead, Bert Hinch.
First stone to the 4-foot, the button. Bob Ingram with the corner guard, and this is the 3rd stone of the end.
Coming here. Coming here. Hey, church here, that's all.
There. Good. It's good. Good.
Good shot, Bert. Beauty.
Oh, boy, Bert.
And updating the other game here in this opening draw, Newfoundland scores 1 in 7 to lead 6-3 over Nova Scotia. It's Frank O'Driscoll from St. John's against Brian Rafuse from Bridgewater.
All's all right.
Just a tap back.
Solid weight.
Whoa.
Bob recognizes he's got to get going here.
Even if it contacts the front one, they can keep their shooter in play.
Wait on me. Hey! Clear! Hooray!
But they do get a drive. Nice shot.
And on top for shot.
Very nice shot. Now the guard that Barry put up there really is working against him a little bit.
That was very well played because you could see that getting through that hole wasn't that easy. It sort of just missed the red guard, and then, of course, as it continued to curl, just missed the yellow guard. So not a very big port to come through.
Barry called down to the face of this, Linda.
Coming right in.
Lots of room. Lots of room.
Ken Brown.
Needs a bit. Needs a bit. No. Yes.
They're having to wait because it's still on the edge of the red stone out front.
Look at it come now. Look at this thing walk over.
Good shot, Kenny.
Good rock, Ken.
That late finish is just going to make for so many interesting shots this week. So you better book your holidays and stay at home and watch 2 a day. We'll bring them to you.
Good here.
Never mind that trip to Hawaii.
Somebody's picking up Picking us up on Maui or Waikiki.
Go now.
Yep.
Lot of room. How's the weight?
They could send us an internet, and we'd know that.
True.
Weight only.
Ontario's ignoring the second shot stone back of the button and trying to play another one in.
Hard! Come on, back here! Come on! Come on!
Trying to get it in position to be able to come off it or use it. It's going to be a fun end now.
The angle is there for BC to make a play on it.
I can see that much. What do you want to throw? I don't know. Whatever. Can I make the double? Yeah. Well, even just hit roll on top here is fine, but we can make the double too.
Oh, the double.
Normal?
I'll be all right.
A little bit more normal.
Up weight with the out turn, looking for the double or the hit and roll.
Yes! Hurry! Hurry!
And that's the worst thing that could have happened, of course, for Barry McPhee now.
Oh, the yellow one's been flying with that one, eh?
You're right, Bear. Bob can now make a play on his own stone and buy 3 off of it. Moving that one and rolling over here, line 3.
Hit and roll here. Give me regular.
Regular.
Yeah, I think so.
Not huge. First stone for the Ontario third, Larry Smith, as we play 8. British Columbia, pardon me. Still Rob Rumfeld. BC leading 4-2. Ontario with hammer.
Oh, wait. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Good
And
shot.
it will spin to a stop.
Huh? Move it.
Ontario line 3.
How much? Which way? I'll go put it where you think it is. This way?
We're talking about the sweeper touch, the stationary stone, and in that case, the stone gets put back where the non-offending team, in this case BC, thinks it was.
That double there, eh?
Want to go this way?
Yeah.
Cross the rings double. Actually, the triples possibly there, depending on how you hit it. Get all 3 of them.
Yes! Yes! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Tony Everts, the first of the third stone.
No, nothing yet.
Boy, lucky to even catch a piece.
There you go.
That's a lot of weight. I don't know if that's what Barry's asking for, but it's a lot more than Tony normally throws, and of course that weight will make it go straighter.
Right here, Larry. All right.
I'm going to let Bob tell us. I'll just put in the perfect circle again. Okay, I'll drop it.
Yeah. Just one, you have to look
Wait
looks like
only,
a
whoa,
triangle all over you.
Out of room. Whoa!
Out turn draw.
Wait only. Oh, let Where is it? Where is it, Jim? Oh, time. Oh. Get ready.
Right there. Get on there.
Come on. Come on. Okay, well.
You
Try to get a little bit more berry on it.
Huh? I want a real skinny, eh?
Yeah. What are you throwing here?
Be a good weight.
Throwing the out turn, huh? Oh, yeah.
Right on the center of the rock, eh?
Right on the center?
Yeah.
Well, what's going to make the difference here is the weight, Linda, to get it to jump it across here and hit this stone here. And we're going to throw the big weight and try and move it right across here.
Linda, what I find curious here is that Tony's sliding down the throw, and he's telling Barry McPhee what ice he wants. He wants that brush right in the center.
Yeah, they're communicating pretty well. As you mentioned, they haven't played together that long. And so they're talking about what kind of weight Tony's going to throw. He's definitely throwing the up weight, so he doesn't need a lot of ice. That's the plan. We'll see if he can execute.
Whoa! Hurry, come on! Whoa! 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 Right off! Whoa! Take it over. Right over, Bert, come on!
Now all the way across.
It's almost the best he could do, Linda.
Second draw will come your way, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, Prince Edward Island against Alberta. We'll see Kevin Martin from the Otwell in Edmonton against Peter McDonald from the Silver Fox Curling and Yacht Club in Summerside. Alberta.
In the last 3 games, taking on the Whalers